YouTube. I'm Nate Bushing with Fairly Awesome Podcast, and I'm here with Ryan McDowell and Staunton Wade. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Xbox One because one of us got it. I don't know who would that be.
Okay, so I did. I did get that. Yes, confession. Geek confessional. I got the Xbox One at launch.
So did you keep the box intact, or were you like, sales lady on Black Friday, just ripping it apart and just...
7-year-old on Christmas morning.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's all intact. The little baggies that everything went in, those are gone. But all the boxes I generally try and keep. I don't think I'm gonna ever sell this, but I mean, I don't know why, but I do keep all the little organizational pieces of cardboard and whatnot.
OCD.
Yeah. It is.
I do the same thing though. I've been trying to get over that, but
I think this is a geek problem because I do too. Everybody I know does that, where it's like you never know, and then you put it in your basement.
You think that you're going to devalue it, right? If you get rid of it.
I still have all my Xbox 360 cases and boxes and whatnot.
Okay, so since that has nothing to do with Xbox,
yeah, box aside. So how is the console? Does it feel nice? Is it heavier?
Well, it's not like I'm regularly lifting the Xbox 360 to say, well, it feels like about 37 ounces heavier. I don't know. It is. It looks and feels more significant. It does. At least size-wise, it is bigger than my Xbox 360 Slim. I think it's roughly the same dimensions as an original Xbox, if that gives you the sense of
okay. So
of
it's a little bit bigger than the 360.
It is a little bit bigger than the 360. But I would say, so the controller is sort of the thing that you sort of interact with, the touch aesthetics to it. And I like the controller better.
Yeah.
Big things you notice off the bat is that where your hands sort of wrap around the controller is a little bit more, I'm going to say this and some people are going to be like, I don't agree with that, but it's a little bit more triangular shaped, but yet it's smooth. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of a rounded triangle that fits into your palm a little better. So it feels narrower when you're holding onto the controller. So the edges feel a little bit more like a PlayStation controller, which those stalks did feel good on a PlayStation controller. For me, it was just the stick layout that I don't like, and the stick feedback that I don't like on a PlayStation controller.
Is it bigger? Like, is the controller bigger? Have you compared the two? Like the
no. If anything, I would say it's a little bit smaller.
Interesting.
Wow.
I was looking at pictures. It looks bigger.
Just a little bit smaller, and maybe that's just perception.
just tactile.
Yeah.
It could be. It seems a little bit taller actually than the because. Okay, so the triggers on the underside, they feel a little bit more under the controller than they have in past.
Okay.
And maybe that's also perception, or maybe that's just because the shoulder buttons feel much more raised and pronounced now. They are a little bit more of an intentional reach up to those shoulder buttons. And I don't know, it feels good. The triggers are not just two curvatures down, it actually curves to the side as well. So as you wrap your fingers around the controller, as you begin to wrap around, it is depressing controller. So for racing games and I think for shooters, it's going to be really good.
Interesting.
So you feel like this is more ergonomically comfortable?
I feel that way. Yes.
So we're talking about an upgrade.
I think so. I did get the plug-in charge kit. So. Whatever, I have the lithium ion in there. One thing to note is, let's say, because I've had this happen on 360 controllers where the little plug and charge battery ends up dying, being useless. If it's not plugged in, it just never takes a charge, and it's just a dead battery.
Yep.
Here's the interesting thing. AA's or lithium ion or whatever you're using in there, if you just have it out entirely, so there's nothing in there, and you plug in the USB to the charge cable to the Xbox One, the controller works with nothing in there. It didn't work that way.
It's no longer like that big port that goes over that covers part of the battery and everything. Now it's just a USB connection.
It is a micro USB, I believe, is the connection for it. A lot of Android devices have that same charger. Now, I think you're going to want to use their their USB cable because it's got like a little light on it that shows you you're charging or you're done charging or whatever built into the USB cable.
Okay, so you won't know otherwise.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll even work. Like I know for the camera that we record all these episodes on, if you don't use the exact right, that is a mini USB cable. If you don't use the exact right one, it doesn't charge the camera properly. You can use it to transfer data, but it just doesn't work properly.
So hardware aside,
yep.
You booted this thing up for the first time.
Yep.
Right? You set your region and all that?
Yep.
Okay.
I actually went through, and not to plug them, but if you want to see it, the whole setup and everything is over on the Formula Forza Twitch page. So that'd be www.twitch.tv/Formula Forza. And I believe it should be the video entitled First Look, Xbox One and Forza 5.
Oh, nice.
So I walked through the whole thing and start installing the game and doing the updates and whatnot, and it actually went pretty quick. There wasn't a moment where I was Twitch casting and it was like awkward where I'm like, okay guys, well it's it's updating.
Time to talk to myself, twiddle my thumbs.
Right. I didn't get any of that. Now every game has to be installed.
Right.
You can't. I mean, we knew this was coming. You cannot play from the disc, so that is not an option. So it must be installed to play the game.
Yep.
Okay.
And the disc has to be in the drive as well. Last I heard.
I don't know.
I
because I haven't tried taking out. I can report on that later. But,
yeah, you'll have to let me know.
But I don't know. Right now, Forza 5 is the only one that I intend to actually have the disc for. Everything else I'm going to buy off of the market, which
Gotcha.
I've already done that for Battlefield 4 and I've already done that for Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
So for those, I won't need a disc because I don't have a disc.
How do you feel about the OS?
Yeah.
Okay, so the OS is much more compact. I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing yet. I don't know. I mean, there's discovery happening right now because it is way more simple. You have on the old one, if you considered them blades or you considered them sheets or whatever via the tile interface or the Metro interface of Xbox 360, you had what you think 5 or 6 different sort of pages that you could go through.
Right.
There's 3.
Wow.
There's on the left is all your pins and there's like a general search to the left. I actually think it says pins in the upper left. And then there's home, which almost everything you want is right there on home. And then over to the right is store, where it has everything you could want in store. So it has a big tiles on there for and maybe we'll splash some of this up on the green screen, some capture that I've done of what the interface looks like. But on the store, it's got music, video, and games on there.
Do you have any Windows 8 devices?
Yes.
Okay. Comparison between this and Windows 8? Is it basically the same thing?
No.
Interesting.
The interface looks similar, but it also looks similar to the current edition of OS for the Xbox 360. You get to customize what your default tile color is, and whatnot. I chose red, and you at first when you choose your color, you're not really sure like what that color, like how much of that color you're gonna get, but it's pretty easy to change if you don't like what you first choose. So it's not such a big deal.
I gotcha.
So one thing is. The first thing I thought when I heard that you're going to have to install games first before you play them, I thought about the install time for the DVDs from Xbox games, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to install this first before I can play. What happens is it's almost like if you've played like World of Warcraft or something like that, where it's sort of a thin client, and every game that I have come across so far works this way, where you only need 14% installed.
Wow.
Before you can get into the game.
So
now, the game isn't totally unlocked.
Right.
When I first got into Forza 5 after 14% installed, it didn't give me the whole track list, but the stuff that it had me walking through at the beginning of the game, all that was open.
Sweet.
So your intro cars, your intro tracks, the videos and that sort of thing, all that was there.
They put priority on the files that you're downloading to make sure you get the first parts
which is
first.
smart.
Yeah.
I think that helps helps it be sort of back of the mind that it's still installing. And
Yeah.
a couple of times throughout the stream I was doing, I would go up and look at there's sort of a status of how far it is on installing. So
How snappy is it too? Like, how is the interface between switching? Like, say I'm in a game and I pull out. They showed it at all the demos at E3. It was fast.
It is really fast.
When I was watching the live stream, that caught my eye instantly.
Yeah.
Is how quickly you were able to jump back to your main display page or whatever you want to call it.
It is practically instant.
Yeah.
You know how like sometimes on the Xbox 360 you
hit
can
it
hit
and
the
just
button and
wait
it
a
could-
second.
I've seen ones where it's like half a second. There's some where it's like almost instantaneously, and there's some where you hit the button and you get like 2 seconds and then it comes up. There are a couple of things where I think we're going to see some interface upgrades. You know, like the friends list doesn't quite work the same way. You get like a news feed that works a little bit like Facebook about what everybody's doing, as opposed to just show me the friends list. You know what I mean? And who's online and who's not.
Yeah.
You can get there, but it's not like the thing you go to.
You think they set that up to widen the amount of friends you can have? Like, if you had so many friends, you wouldn't want to browse through a list. You'd want people you favorited probably to see.
There is an area there for you to, like, if you've got 10 people that you regularly, when these guys are on, I'm gaming with them, but yet I've got a whole bunch more friends.
Right.
There is an area there for you to mark some of your friends as favorite friends.
Gotcha.
So you can see, okay, what are they doing right now in the favorite friends area, and that works a bit. That's what I was saying. That works a bit like how Friends List works on Xbox 360, which I think was a pretty intuitive interface. You got your offline friends all the way at the bottom, and alphabetically who's online and what are they doing right now at the top. What's really interesting is because it's news feed style, you can see what people were doing hours and hours ago. When they got on, what they were doing. So I'm sure there's going to
Ryan taking a dump in Forza 5.
There is a funny in Grand Theft Auto 5. It will tell you where you're at, and it will tell you if the player is in the strip club in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nice.
Yeah,
There you
exactly.
go. We know who's in the strip club.
right. So yeah, the interface. The other thing I want to say about that is I thought, okay, with these being on Blu-ray, there's going to be a big hit to the hard drive. I know it's got a 500 gig hard drive in it, but I mean, how long can that last with me installing all these full games? You're not playing from the disc, so the installs are going to be even bigger.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how much, with the DLC I already had with Forza 5 and the updates and whatnot, how much space did I really have left after already installing 3 games and a couple of apps and things like that? You know what I couldn't find? Memory Manager.
Oh.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
That's no good.
I'm sure it's just I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure there's an interface for it. There has to be.
Yeah.
Because when you're installing games like this, you need to be able to make space for another game.
Yeah.
And then reinstall it later or re-download it. But at first glance, it wasn't anywhere in the settings.
This is an issue that I've had with Windows 8, though, is that I feel like they dumbed it down to the point where they've made things inaccessible, and I was worried that they were going to do something similar. Since this looks so much like Windows, even though you say it's not quite like Windows 8, it's still the same people.
Well, see, Windows 8, you can still get to a normal desktop.
I realize that, but this you can't get back to the blades.
No, you can't. You can't.
Right.
Although interesting, it would be interesting if somebody's eventually going to be able to build, alternate appearances. I mean, why not? Unless Microsoft is like, nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know whether they'll have it on lockdown or not. I don't know. Some other impressions on it. The Kinect hooks up very quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
It does pretty good recognition if you have multiple IDs on your Xbox One. It will do facial recognition to say, oh, you want to sign in as this person.
Right.
So,
I was gonna say I've heard that some people were able. You just sit in front of it and it knows and it signs in the profile.
You can also turn that off and say only ever sign in as because like mine is set up in the living room, so if my wife comes by, it's like, oh, switching to her account.
Right,
I don't want that to happen. But
Ryan,
so
Ryan, of course, just stands up in front of the Kinect and just puts his pants up there. He's like, "Yep, me."
Initializing facial recognition. Get this shot right here.
You did it with your butt, didn't you?
I did. No, it works pretty well, and the commands work pretty well. It's like now you used to only be able to do a handful of commands to the Kinect, and now
Xbox
pretty
make
much,
sandwich, Xbox make coffee.
No, I just mean any option that's on screen you can do with the Xbox.
Should we be rushing out to buy this?
Here's if you haven't made up your mind about whether you're going to go PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, I would say figure that out. If you're in the Xbox market, I would say yes. You should go out and get this. You're not really gonna. I mean, are you gonna wait? If you're gonna wait, are you waiting for a $100 price break on this?
Because it's gonna be a long time.
It's gonna be a long time. Are you waiting for a slim version? Even longer.
4 years between the redesign of Xbox.
Exactly. I mean, I would think you're looking at least 3 years before you see a slim model of this, and I think you're talking a year to maybe even a year and a half before you really even see it come down from.
We'll see bundles, but I doubt we'll ever see a price drop.
I seem to recall seeing a Black Friday ad, maybe it was Target, where you get like a $100 Target gift card or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Something where the price was the same, but they had found a way to incentivize it.
So, I would say that if you know that at some point I'm going to get it,
it's worth it. You think?
I would say if you know you're going to get the Xbox One at some point, there's not a whole lot of point in waiting.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you're a Forza fan, so it makes sense.
I'm a big Forza fan, and I will be the first to say that I was a little disappointed at some of the things that were stated up until release about the number of reduced tracks, the number of reduced cars that are in this game. But what I can say is what they have built is a seamless experience. And I don't know if, like, I grew up playing Gran Turismo, and I guess I also got into like the Need for Speed games, but it sort of evolved into more of the sim style. I liked Gran Turismo more, and then when I transitioned over to Forza 2 at some point, because the whole Forza franchise, pretty much up until 4, all happened between Gran Turismo 4 and Gran Turismo 5. Because it was such a long section there, but where they didn't have a release. But the shocking numbers, I guess, are that in Forza 5, fewest cars they've ever done. 205 cars at launch.
Wow.
205 cars is a big dip down from what we left off with if you had all the DLC in Forza 4, which was right around 650 cars.
Holy cow.
This is a big drop. Now, to me, I'm not the biggest bigot on the straight number of cars. It's really the cars that I'm interested in. And the game caters to 3 sorts of racing game enthusiast, and it's one, the person that wants to buy the car that they own, right? So let's say you own a Honda Civic, and you're into that scene, and you want to take your car and just totally max it, 900 horsepower, it's totally undrivable.
If that was possible.
Right, and in the game you can do some crazy engine swaps, and it is very customizable, so it is pretty cool to do that. But so you've got that crowd that wants to buy their car, and they're either happy that their car is in the game, or they're really pissed off that it was one of the 650, or that one of the ones that was dropped, one of the 450 that was dropped from the game, in this iteration. So there's that. There's the ones that want to buy their dream cars and race them. So that would be like road cars, like your Ferraris and Lamborghinis and your supercars,
and all
right?
that,
And then there's, and they're probably not even the majority, but I would say this is probably the minority crowd. But this is what strikes me as what the game probably should be.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my take, and this is probably where I fall. So maybe I feel the most biased to this.
It's not like you have a league or anything.
Right, so not right. But no, it's Forza Motorsport, right?
Yeah.
Like the racing cars in the game is part of it.
Right.
Right? The old Le Mans cars, the now F1, the the motorsport inspired cars, even the ones that are made and they'll go do some crazy race and then they're remembered in history. The 1960s Ford GT40. That those cars have a spot in history for those that are motorsport enthusiasts. But I'm going to concede that that's probably the smallest of those three markets. But the cars that they put in the game are, I think they nestle in those three. And the thing I was disappointed is if you're a motorsport enthusiast, there are 19 cars that are race cars. 19. It's about 20% of the cars in the game. So if you look at it that way, it's about the same that has been in the past iterations, but 19 is awfully thin. And there's some head scratcher cars in it. There's a GMC Cyclone, which is no doubt it's a badass truck.
GMC paid a lot of money to have it in there, Ryan.
Maybe. But there's a GMC Cyclone in there, and the tagline of the game is "Where dreams are driven," right? When you got to pare down the game to 205 cars, I think there was a little bit of did they choose the right?
Do you think it was because of the resolution, though? You think it's because of
they had to
much...
laser scan everything.
This is just time.
Yeah. It is time. So there's going to be, they've got a DLC plan for this, and some people will say, well, they're going to make a bunch of, their whole game plan is to make a bunch of money. And, I think that's probably true.
Just from you, Ryan.
and your league, yeah. You guys will all buy them.
That's true. Well, if they're race car packs, we will certainly buy them.
Tell us about some of the other games.
Yeah.
All right, so I got Battlefield 4 and I've got Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Haven't played either of them yet.
Oh, you know what?
But Forza 5 is that good. It is a seamless experience, and that's one of the things I was getting to, is that it in Gran Turismo, you play it and it has thousands of cars. The problem is that they've imported cars from past iterations that go all the way back to the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Right? So you're like racing your high def car against, you look over to your right, and there's a car that's not even close to high def. It's like it's pathetic. The grill is painted on. And in this game, in Forza 5, you don't get that. Everything looks seamless. Everything looks like it belongs.
Gotcha.
So in my opinion, if I do think that it's worth it. Anyway.
No, the one thing I was curious about, they claimed on the controller that the new triggers were going to have great force feedback. How does it feel driving with that? Do you notice the triggers have different?
Yeah, so I'm a longtime wheel driver, so it was kind of hilarious to watch me get back into the. I think many of the streamers were having a laugh at how it looked when I was drunken driving on there, but. No,
you were really drinking. Too,
so everybody passes on the grass. It's okay.
Okay, so the throttle is really good. If you break the tires loose, you can feel the rumble in that right trigger.
Oh, wow!
Nice. When you break the wheels loose.
Yeah.
If I had anti-lock brakes off for pretty much the whole time, and anytime I would lock up the brakes or it was skidding across the road, you feel that on the left.
Nice.
Left side of that. So I think it's gonna be really good. It felt good when I was playing it, and it was a lot of feedback, and I think it's a good thing for it.
Awesome.
So I can't wait to see what happens when in the Battlefield 4, the Assassin's Creeds of the world.
But maybe you'll get different rumbles for the gun that you're using. I hope so.
Or maybe if they allow you to dual wield, you get the bat in the right or the left or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
Don't you get the bat? I do.
Oh yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, that I think is going to have to wrap it up for this one. It's going a little long, but we'll have more Xbox news here on Fairly Awesome Podcast, as the weeks come on, and as we all eventually will probably get one. I'm sure. You going to get one, Staunton?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'll get one. I don't know when I'm going to get it, but soon. But if you want to follow any more of our videos, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Twitter at FAPcast, or go to facebook.com/fairlyawesomepodcast. Like us, let us know more about Xbox One and what you like about it. All right, see you guys.
It's just like Large Hadron Collider, and two turds just hit and just shit hits the fan.
Literally.
There went all hope of normalization.
Shit explosion.
Jesus. All right. Well, we found our outtake, I think.
Speaking of outtakes.
The Omni picked that up from here.
That was Chinese take out.
Oh my
Take
God.
out.